What's up, guys? P Hands here, and today we're going to be going over the new Black Ops 6 maps that were just revealed yesterday. I just want to give a quick apology for I guess what you call kind of like the low quality, uh, kind of low production quality of this video. Kind of just recording it on the fly, just on my computer, like the best I can. Um, Not the richest guy in the world, but I'm here to provide probably I'm gonna try to provide the best information that I can, kind of my opinions on these maps. So if you didn't know, yesterday Treyarch Activision released a new update slash like news for Black Ops 6 before launch here in about a month. Um, if you played the beta at all, you know that we played Skyline, Rewind, Scud, Derelict, Babylon, Pit, Gala, and Stakeout already. But yesterday, with their update, they released a description and also a mini map for the rest of them. Protocol, Payback. I guess Protocol was in the beta. It was the training course, so you probably played it there. Subsonic, Red Card, Vercuda, Vault, and Saint House. Sorry. Um, Basically, first off, I just want to kind of get the beta maps out of the way. Skyline, I think Skyline was one of the best in the beta. Played fast, played pretty well. Um, cool design, looked good. So Skyline was probably one of the best. Rewind, I also really liked Rewind. I think Rewind played well. Played kind of like a traditional semi bigger slash medium sized map. Scud. Scud is crud. I hated Scud so much. Um, Probably the worst map in the beta in my opinion. But I'm gonna get to Scud later. Um, Babylon also. Babylon's kind of split within the community. Some people love it. Some people like me don't love it. I've just never been a big fan of kind of like the shipment style maps. Just that 90-degree square, real small, real chaotic, spawn die over and over kind of style of Call of Duty, and Babylon fits that pretty well. I was even like, while playing it, I was like, how is this not a face-off map? Like, it was literally like the same size as like Gala. Like, it's a really small, really chaotic kind of shipment like map, and some people are gonna like that. I didn't personally. Um, Derelict or Derelict. I can derelict my own balls. Thank you very much. If you get that reference, you're a true one. Um, I like Derelict. I know some people don't love it, and I would have to agree that it's not like a top tier COD map or even Black Ops map. But I think it played pretty all right for, what it is, and I had some good games on it, so I don't hate Derelict that much. Stakeout, I never had the opportunity to play, but looking at gameplay, I'm just gonna say like these four strike maps slash face-off maps, like they're not it. Like I'm just gonna be completely honest. Like I tried playing face-off, and maybe face-off just isn't my game mode. But even for like um, gunfight, I think it's called, they just didn't play well on that either. So. I don't know, like post-launch support for better face-off maps is gonna have to be there, or else I'm just not gonna play the mode at all. Didn't get to play Stakeout, didn't look that great. I did play Gala. Like I said, it's okay. It's a cool setting and cool map design, but it doesn't play well in my opinion. And then Pit, kind of same thing. Like it's okay, like at the best. Not really my cup of tea. But moving forward, I'm obviously going to go over all the maps that were revealed yesterday, um, and I'm going to go over my personal opinions with them. And then at the end, I'm going to go over the three game modes, the CDL game modes, the competitive, and I'm going to give my predictions for what the competitive maps are going to be this year. And if you pay attention to the competitive scene, you know that post-launch maps are also usually added into the scene. So obviously take my predictions with a grain of salt. I just chose four maps for each game mode. And again, it could be more or less. Like these are just my predictions. They're really not set in stone. and I could be completely wrong, but I just wanted to give my predictions on them. So let's move forward to go to red card. All right, so red card. Um, red card kind of reminds me a lot of like either an Express or a Plaza or Encore from Black Ops 2, kind of that stadium setting and also that curved shape that all three of those maps kind of had. Obviously, out here you got your outer lane, um, kind of used for flanking to get to this middle lane where I feel like a lot of the action's going to be going on inside the building. Um, but this outer lane, people will be flanking here. I'm sure people will be sitting here watching it. They'll be sitting on headies and whatnot. But overall, like a lot of POIs in this. If you read the description, there's the lobby, the merch stands, the outside area, which is obviously this, um, and then the parking garage. There's a parking garage in here as well. So lots of POIs. It looks like it's going to be one of the. I know they said there's no big maps. It's going to be one of the more kind of the bigger, medium-sized map that we'll find in this game. But overall, uh, don't really know how this one will play just yet. I mean, again, we're just looking at the mini map, so we're really not going to know what we're dealing with until we actually get hands-on with these maps. However, not bad. It doesn't look awful, but again, we won't know that until we play it. Next, we got Subsonic. Again, like I said with Babylon, I'm just not like the square kind of small spawn die kind of chaotic style of Call of Duty is just not me. I think shipment and maps a lot like this work for like 1v1s or even 2v2s, but just as a 6v6 core map, uh, this one could surprise me, could end up being okay, but just bare bones looking at it, like this looks like another Babylon shipment situation. One that I'm like, how is this a core map? How is this not deemed a face-off map? Like, I don't really understand the decision making there. Um, but yeah, not too excited to play this one, but I'm hoping to be uh, proved wrong. I should say that. I'm hoping to be proved wrong that this map is fun, but first glance doesn't look great. Moving next, we got Vorkuta. Um, this looks kind of like a sledgehammer map to me. Like I don't know what it is. It just doesn't have that traditional Treyarch kind of three-lane structure. Like I'm sure it will play kind of three. Like you can kind of make out of three lanes here, like this outer lane and this middle lane a bit, and then there's this giant area over here. Just reminds me a lot of something that you would see in a Sledgehammer game, though, instead of a Treyarch game. Um, but overall, I think this area over here, unless this is like a building, I think this is probably this building right here. Um, I think this is going to be pretty open for ARs and snipers, and then most of your subs and shotgun players are going to be running around in here. Um, this one doesn't get me too excited, but it also like I don't look at this map and be like, oh man, that's going to be abysmal to play. We're really just going to have to see. Obviously, it has something to do with Mason's history. I saw in the description, so maybe ties into the campaign somehow. I know like there's another map coming up that ties into the campaign. So maybe this is kind of doing the same thing. Next, we got Protocol. This is obviously the training course map. We already kind of played it in the beta. We didn't play any 66 on it. Don't really know how it's going to run there. But playing on the training course, you kind of get a feel for it. Like it could work out pretty well in 66. Um, I say most people are just going to stick here to the middle areas. Though, if you go, you know, playing on the training course, there's going to be probably some spawn campers. Like if you went to the spawn areas, um, they're just pretty big and open, and I guarantee people will just be sitting back there with LMGs and snipers. So that won't be too fun. But there's also like, if I remember right, there was like underground tunnels and whatnot to get to different places of the map. It's not like you can get from one side of the map to the other like hijacked. but there still is some underground like flank opportunities. Um, yeah, already got kind of got hands on with this one, but we'll have to see how it plays in core gameplay. Next, we got Vault. This reminds me a lot of like an MW2, like the 2022 version of MW2, um, or just like a Modern Warfare kind of smaller map just in general. But we obviously still got the 3 lane kind of trailer. This right here, um, I feel like this is going to be no man's land. Like there's going to be a sniper sitting on this heady over here or this heady right here, and this like nobody's want to go to this area because snipers are just going to be hard scoping it. So most of the actions are obviously going to take place in the building, and then flank opportunities. Like I really don't think anyone's going to be flanking in this lane. I think it's most of the flanking is going to come down to this lane and winning your gunfights in this lane. Um, but overall, could be fun to play. Just kind of really reminds me of a Modern Warfare map. Next, we got Lowtown. This is like the first one I saw. I was like, okay, this looks like it could be pretty solid. You know, it looks a little bigger. It obviously got 3 distinct lanes. Um, the only issue I'm seeing with this map is the water. Like all this blue is obviously water, and I think it's water maps. Like when water is featured this heavily in a map, it can go one of two ways. It could be okay kind of slash good slash okay, kind of like Hunted from BO3. That map was great. Or it could go pretty poorly, like Hydroelectric from MW2 or Grease. Everyone, instantly forgot about Grease from MW3. Just because like the water is just like, when it's implemented this heavily into a map design, it always kind of seems to be up in the air about how this is actually going to go. Payback. This was the map I was talking about when it comes to tying into the campaign. Obviously, we've seen from the campaign that this is kind of going to be like the safe house where Woods is, kind of where we're going to get um, like mission intel, like start our missions, load our classes up beforehand. I'm really liking the look of this map. This map looks like it's probably out of the new ones that we got. This one looks like it's going to be the best. Um, Gameplay wise, I could be proven like I've said with all these maps, I could be proven wrong. Like this one could be pretty bad to play, but obviously a lot of action is going to go down here in the building, just like any map you have. Like most of the action is going to go down in the buildings. Um, this map right here, I guarantee you're going to have someone sitting back here trying to watch it, just like head glitching or whatnot. But if you get lucky, you could like swing right in here and try to get in here, get a flank on the enemy. Um, Overall, I'm really excited to play this one, though. I think this one looks like it's going to play probably the best. And you know that saying about saving the best for last? Well, I saved the worst for last for this one because what in the world is this catastrophe? Listen, like I said, the strike maps, the face-off maps, like I said, how none of them looked good. Well, we've gotten hands on with three of them. They were saving this one for last, and good lord, they shouldn't have, because I like the concept. We got a nuke town after um the nuke has gone off, but oh my lord, this just looks so boring and bare and just you know I don't like saying lazy when it comes to game development because I know game development is such a difficult and you know very skilled job to have. But this one looks like they just threw it to get like it looks like let's just have this oval map, you know, covered in sand, and we're just gonna put some debris from Nuketown in it. Just oh cool, like Nuketown IP. Like no, like this looks like this is one of the reasons I'm not going to be playing Face Off this much because I don't think this is going to be their version of Nuketown this year. I really think probably before season one or at season one we're going to get a full on 66 version of Nuketown. But if this is this year's version of Nuketown, that's pathetic because you know this looks really bad. This doesn't look fun to play at all. Um, I'm just gonna move on because I'm just gonna keep ranting about it. All right, moving on to my CDL predictions. Hardpoint, I think we're going to get Rewind, Lowtown, Vorkuta, and Protocol. Rewind, we've obviously played in the beta. We played Hardpoint. I think it played pretty well Hardpoint wise, and I think it would, play well in 4v4 competitive. Lowtown was obviously that map with all the water in it. Uh, I think Hardpoint's like really the only one we're going to see um, for that. Maybe S&D as well, but kind of like we saw Hydroelectric in MW2 played Hardpoint. I think did that play all three modes or was it just Hardpoint and S&D? I can't remember. Um, Kind of those water flank opportunities create exciting moments in the CDL, so I really don't think they leave this one out. I threw Vorkuta in here. Um, just based off the mini map, I think there's pretty good places of interest they can put the point in. So I don't think they leave that one. I think that one kind of sneaks its way in. And then Protocol is obviously the training course one. Um, decent size. So up, if you played the training course at all, there's pretty good spots for like a point. I think that one makes it into the hard point as well. Search and destroy. I said I would come back to Scud, and I know in the intro I said I hated Scud. Scud was abysmal. It was not fun to play in the beta. This is search and destroy though, and if looking at history, we've always had that one map in the game where it played awful 66 and it played awful in pubs, but it always ends up in the competitive rotation for S&D just because of the way it plays 4v4 S&D. Looking at Modern Warfare 2019, we got Piccadilly, one of the worst maps of all time, made it into the S&D CDL scene. Then we look next year at Miami and Cold War. Miami just was not it. Like it wasn't the worst map of all time. It wasn't Piccadilly bad, but it was pretty bad. Made it to the CDL location. So I think just having played Scud and knowing the minimap, I think Scud kind of make sneaks its way into the search and destroy this year. Put Rewind back in there. Like I said, we played it. Just seems like a map that's going to play well in the competitive scene. Payback is obviously the safe house map. I think you know, I think one bomb site goes into the building, the other bomb site goes on the outer flank. And I see this one being an S&D map as well. And then Lowtown, obviously, kind of going back to that water flank, creates for exciting moments. S&D, if one of the pro players, decides to swim from one side of the map to the other to get behind the enemy team, like that's going to create for strategy, something that probably play well in S&D. And then control. Listen, I hate control. I think control is one of the worst third modes we've ever gotten for competitive Call of Duty, and I'd like to see them. Sorry, I'd like to see them either create a new mode or bring like capture the flag back or something. Um, but I think developers have made it pretty clear, as well as the CDL, that control is kind of here to stay for the time being. So based off knowing that Control is probably going to be that. I will have to say though, because Control is a Treyarch game mode, Treyarch created Control, it usually plays best in the Treyarch games. Like it just doesn't play well on the Infinity Ward games or the Sledgehammer games. Um, but Treyarch, even though it's still not, my favorite mode, or whenever it pops up, I'm always not that excited. I think it usually does play the best in like Black Ops 4, Cold War. Rewind. I'm seeing Rewind all three modes this year. I really think it's one of those maps that's just going to play well no matter what competitive mode you're playing. Um, I put Lowtown back in here. This is a control. Like looking at the mini map, I didn't know what to do. So Rewind I think is a lock. I think Rewind is a control map this year. These three are up in the air. Like Lowtown, it could be or could not be. Payback, I think Payback's a pretty good guess to be a lock. And then Protocol, I would say Protocol, but because of how like just rectangular Protocol is, like it's going to be really easy to get from the A point to the B point, especially if they get put right next to each other. So I'm not like Protocol and Lowtown are just up in the air guesses. Whereas Payback and Rewind, I think, are pretty solid locks. But yeah, overall, I'm excited to get hands on with this game in about a month. Um, other beta changes they made. Obviously, they've improved the lag spiking, nerfed special or sleeper agent. Um, what else have they done? Done some weapon tuning, some spawn fixes. Spawns were pretty bad. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty excited to get hands on with this game, um, and kind of see how it goes from there. Um, and yeah, I'm gonna be making lots of videos this year for Black Ops 6. And if you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe. It helps my channel really, really, really much. And yeah, see you guys on the next one.